Let's go, you and I, out into these misty, mystical hills, winding our way through the deep green valleys and up into the snow-capped peaks of the mighty Rocky Mountains, past the silent, watching totems of ancient villages, and follow the untamed rivers as they course down the mountainsides to the wild, windswept shores of the rugged northwest coast. We'll sail through the timeless waters of the great bare rainforest and feel the presence of the spirits. Are you ready?
The gods were happy, or so it seemed, walking down a road to nowhere. I drank the water and I wasn't new, and took in all of you, and it lifted me up and I flew away high over these mountains. Such was my heart today, walking down a road to nowhere. I was walking down a road to nowhere.
I am in the land of giants. One can't help but be moved by the majesty of these massive mountains. They hold a mystical attraction that seems to know the very secrets of time. I'm riding on the back of a snake that twists and turns as it winds through these cavernous valleys and soaring hills, sometimes hugging the mountainside at heights so great I dare not look down. Signs warn to watch for elk, moose, and bighorn sheep. Everything so lush and green and filled with life. The forest air is rich and sweet. The spirits are alive here. The abundance fades quickly as I near the arid desert region. The beautiful green hills give way to more severe, chiseled rock faces. The hills only dotted with trees now. Sagebrush, cactus, and tumbleweeds abound. It feels like Afghanistan. With a sense of apprehension, I realize what lay ahead, and before I know it, I'm already there. The devastation ravaged by the forest fires is like a scene out of Dante. It's very eerie. The road rolls on through that unforgiving desert, following alongside the mighty Thompson River. The scenery's surreal. I'm headed for Cache Creek on the Caribou Road. The name goes back to the days of the fur trade, when people would cache their valuables in the nearby hills. Maybe I should go have a look and see if I can find something long since forgotten. Morning is a little frosty. Snow tires are mandatory here as of October 1st, and that's just 2 weeks hence. I joined the locals at Cheryl's Truck Stop Diner, then headed northbound through the Badlands, following the old mining trail known as the Caribou Wagon Road. I wove my way through a wide variety of terrains, eventually leveling out on a plateau. I could see so far that it felt like I was on top of the world. Today, I'm bound for the town of Quesnel, at the confluence of the mighty Fraser and Quesnel rivers. The Aboriginal people here called themselves Uda Ukella, which means people who travel by boat on water early in the morning, more commonly known as the carrier. Back in 1808, Simon Fraser did some exploring here, searching for a way to the Pacific. As was the trend at the time, he named a big river for himself and its tributary after his clerk, Jules Quesnel. Gold rush fever blazed through here back in 1857, after the discovery of gold in the Fraser River. The area was quickly overrun with all sorts of characters, prospectors, dreamers, ne'er-do-wells, and everything in between, all hoping to strike it rich. Surely they didn't find it all.
Where the wild river flows, I will follow, northbound with the geese on high. I will follow the sound of their calling high. We'll sleep where the white pine sigh.
I'm looking forward to another day of enjoying some of the most beautiful scenery on this planet. I saddle up the Hyundai and giddy up along the Caribou Trail. The hills roll by with ear-popping ups and downs. Hawks swirl overhead, sailing on the updrafts in a clear blue sky. I pass by homesteads with wood piles already stacked high, ready for the winter that's just around the corner. Supply chains are crucial in these remote areas. As if an exclamation to that point, I have to wait for a freight train to pass that must have been at least a mile long. Having just passed by Prince George and making tracks for Vanderhoof, I see a sign for a missing girl. In a heartbeat, I'm overwhelmed with sadness. I realize this is the infamous Highway of Tears, a stretch of road between Prince George and Prince Rupert that's notorious for so many disappearances and murders dating back to the 1970s. There's an ugly darkness that haunts these shadows, so tragic, and yet it continues still. Vanderhoof, a sleepy little town on the Nechako River, has the unique distinction of being the geographical center of British Columbia. Another beautiful day. I'm coasting along the crown of a vast plateau. Up the way are the immense, rich green Emily Carr-like hills, the road twisting and turning like a roller coaster, up, down, around and around, eventually spilling out into a huge valley, then starting all over again. At one point I noticed a sign indicating the approaching descent of 6 Mile Hill. I figure it was named that for a reason. Cresting a huge hill is the first time I catch sight of them. In the far distance, towering over the outlying hills, are the huge snow-capped peaks of the mighty Rockies, an imposing sight to behold. Realizing that's where I'm headed is just a tad daunting. The road is now following the Bulkley River. This is Wet'suwet'en territory. Wet'suwet'en means people of the Bulkley River. They're a branch of the Carrier people. I'm making camp tonight in the little alpine town of Smithers, at the base of the majestic glacier-topped Hudson Bay Mountain. It has an elevation of just over a mile high. Residents of Smithers are known as Smithereens.
Light come down in a shimmering rain. Oh, for the yearning in my days. I will stand before you as I pray. Take me up to a higher plane. Blackened stump bleached by the sun. Oh, for the yearning in my days.
I'm soaring with the eagles, then swoop down and float among the wispy white clouds drifting lazily in the low-lying valleys. I continue to slip along on this serpentine trail, not sure if I'm dreaming. I've never been anywhere as remote or more beautiful. This is the land of the Gitxsan. They've lived here since the last ice age, about 10,000 years ago. The pyramids were being built about 4,500 years ago. Just outside the little village of Hazelton is San Historic Village, a replica Gitxsan village of long houses and huge totem poles. Hazelton is one of the oldest settlements in BC and remains much the same as it was back in 1866. In those days, it was the upriver terminus for a fleet of stern wheelers that plied the wild rapids of the Skeena River and brought the workers and supplies to the settlements, farms, and mines. During those Wild West days, the area was home to some heroic outlaws, mysterious bank robbers, daring riverboat captains, and a rowdy bunch of legendary wilderness characters. Up the road is the village of Kispiox, with about 24 incredible totem poles, some dating back to 1880. A little hike up the Alaska Highway, we find the ancient village of Gittineau. It's impossible to describe the magic of the totems here. Perhaps it's the isolation, or the sound of the Kitwanga River in the background, or maybe it's the power of seeing a gathering of more than 20 regal, timeless sentinels of Northwest Coast culture. From Gittineau to Terrace, it's downhill all the way. The mountain ranges surrounding Terrace were originally called Ganiks Laksa, which in Tsimshian language means stairway to heaven. The road skirts along the bank of the beautiful Skeena River. Its silvery blue water, diamond-dappled and shimmering in the golden sun. The Yellowhead Highway between Terrace and Prince Rupert is claimed to be one of the most beautiful and scenic drives anywhere in the world. I now know that to be true. Along the way are mountains, beautiful cliff faces, glaciers, towering waterfalls trickling down mountainsides. This is where the wild things are. Eagles and hawks soar overhead, mountain goats in the high hills, sea lions in the Skeena River with wolves, bear, deer, moose, and the occasional Sasquatch. Every turn presents another breathtaking scene to behold. The drive's over before I want it to be, and I'm tempted to turn around and do it all over again. Prince Rupert is a tough little town, located in the heart of Tsimshian territory. They've flourished here for over 10,000 years. Just 120 years ago, the sheltered harbor was a collection of small indigenous villages. It's also Canada's wettest city, known as the City of Rainbows. It rains an average of 240 days a year. Tourism brochures like to highlight the 100 days of sunshine.
Voice calling from the mountains, calling from the mountains, the water rushes down. Old voice beckon from the snow fields, tumble down the rock face, rush into the sea. How I wish I could fly with you, but I have clipped my wings. One day I will fly with you when the telling heals the pain.
Today we're sailing the Inside Passage. It's about 500 kilometers and takes around 18 hours. There's snow-capped mountains, fjords, and rainforests. You can see whales, dolphins, and if you're lucky, the rare spirit bear. I'm at the dock at 4:30 a.m. After a short wait, we drive right into the belly of the beast. This is a big ship, over 500 feet long and a beam of 120 feet. We shove off into a dense fog. I can't see more than 10 feet. the mournful bleat of the foghorn trumpets our advance. People come from all over to marvel at the wild wonders and rugged beauty found here. We're sailing through the great bare rainforest, one of the last unspoiled rainforests in the world, a land of mist-shrouded valleys and old-growth forest. There are 1,000-year-old cedars and Sitka spruce soaring up to nearly 300 feet high. This is the land of grizzlies, coastal wolves, salmon, sea otters, and the all-white spirit bear, the rarest bear on earth. Mountains soar up beside us to dizzying heights, poking up into the heavens, with ancient glaciers nestled in their cleavage. Streams cascade down over rocky sluiceways. We pass through channels sometimes so narrow you can almost touch the sides. The thrum of the engines is the drumbeat to our dance. Orcas elegantly rise and dip alongside, dolphins cavorting about and sea otters play in the shallows. To witness this world of wonders, so pure and untouched, can move you to tears. It resonates with something deep within your soul. It's truly overwhelming. One can't help but feel the spirit of the universe here.
In the deep, deep heart of the rain coast, in the heart of some long lost dream, spirit walk in the bays of plenty, over cedar falls, past sedge and stream, and snow-capped mountains looking down, Ribbon Falls, splash emerald jade, water cleanse my eyes to see and hear what spirits made. And the tears come to my eyes when I hear the elders speak. In their silence, you hear the thunder. In their softness, make me weep. Save, please save the rain coast. Save, please save my home, where the water rushed down from the mountains, where the spirit bear still roams.
I woke up to a dream. A little log cabin, the sweet, salty smell of the sea air, and a beautiful mountain vista to behold. I had to pinch myself yet again. Still in the rainforest, the road is a corridor through the dark, dense growth. It ribbons through the deep, rich valleys and coils around the hulking hillsides of soaring mountains, their heads lost in the clouds. I keep wishing I was on my motorcycle. Just down the road from Port Hardy is my first stop, a little village called Fort Rupert. This is still home to the Kwakwaka'wakw people. Interestingly, back in 1913, the great photographer Edward S. Curtis made a film there titled In the Land of the Headhunters. Set in pre-European contact, this was an epic drama of life on the Northern Pacific. It was made with the cooperation of and featured the Kwakwaka'wakw people, depicting their customs, dances, and yes, their penchant for placing the heads of their enemies outside the village. Campbell River. I went to the Visitor Information Center and asked about totem poles in the area. Apologetically, they were of little help. Eventually, out on the edge of town, I found one beside the Walmart parking lot, another in an abandoned field behind the local Home Depot. So sad to see them in such a sorry place. Sacrilege. Seems those lands had a very different purpose not that long ago. I'm sure there were others that weren't spared. Southward bound, I follow the coast down to Duncan. I meander along, hugging the shoreline. I can see the Rockies across the Strait of Georgia. To my right are the huge, hilly, wooded mountains that form the backbone of this beautiful island. And along the way are verdant valleys, family farms, quaint little towns and villages, with fishing boats bobbing peacefully in the bays. Duncan, being the smallest city in Canada by area, only 0.8 square miles, is also officially named City of Totems, having a collection of around 44 of them. Not surprisingly, it has a large indigenous community and is the traditional home of the Cowichan tribe.
Footprints on a mountain walk before me. Footprints on a mountain lead me on. Someone put the paint to the canvas. It was waiting all along. Places in the world hold a spirit. Places in the world that feel so strong. Warmed by wind and weather. You pull me on. You pull me on.
Well, looks like we're drawn to the end of the trail. Time to stable the ponies, hang the saddles in the tack shed, head on over to the saloon and wash off the trail dust. That ride sure had its share of ups and downs, more twists and turns than a Stephen King novel. There were a few ghosts along the way. Driving through that desert, I couldn't help but conjure up the memory of my friend and I, just 13 years old, hitchhiking through there like a couple of tumbleweeds on our way to work at a ranch. I did have a couple of traveling companions. Guy Vanderhaeg, great author of the Canadian Western Experience, kept me entertained in the evening hours with his great dramatic novel, The Last Crossing, which paired perfectly with this expedition. Ian Tamblyn provided the musical backdrop. His poetically crafted songs, so insightful and inspirational, paint such stirring images of the haunting beauty of all that is the Pacific Northwest. Thanks for riding along with me. Until next time, happy trails to you.